Welcome to the deep dive. We explore different sources to pull out the key insights for you.
Exactly. And today we're digging into the role of an assistant warehouse manager.
Yep, we've got a bunch of interview questions and answers here.
And our mission basically is to unpack what skills and knowledge are really essential for this job.
Right. So whether you're maybe thinking about this career or you work with assistant warehouse managers or, you're just curious about logistics,
Mm-hmm.
this should give you a good sense of what's involved.
Definitely. The source material covers a lot, doesn't it? Software skills, conflict.
Yeah, inventory management, safety, security, motivation. It's a long list.
It really shows how multifaceted the role is. Technical skills, people skills, strategy.
So ever wonder what actually keeps a warehouse humming along?
Let's find out.
Let's dive in. Okay, first up, technology. Sounds like software is, well, non-negotiable these days.
Absolutely. The questions hit hard on warehouse management systems, or WMS.
WMS, right?
Yeah, and it's not just using them, it's experience with, say, implementing a new system, maintaining it,
Okay.
understanding the difference between cloud-based systems and on-premise ones.
Then things like barcode scanning,
Yeah,
RFID.
exactly. Those tools, plus automated data entry, they're all mentioned as key.
Because they all feed into accurate and efficient inventory tracking, which is kind of the core function, isn't it?
It really is. That's the foundation.
And that tech foundation, it supports the other essential skills, right?
Yeah, definitely. The sources really emphasize strong organizational skills and communication abilities.
Makes total sense. You're juggling inventory, shipping, receiving,
Yeah.
talking to other departments, vendors. You need to be organized.
And communicate clearly, yeah. Plus, you need a good handle on safety regulations.
Safety, right?
Yeah.
And problem solving too, I imagine. Things must go wrong sometimes.
Oh, constantly. Warehouses are dynamic places. Being able to tackle unexpected issues quickly and effectively is crucial.
Okay, so with all those people involved, staff, vendors, other departments, what about conflicts? How should an assistant manager handle disagreements?
Well, the approach highlighted is all about open communication.
Okay.
Getting the people involved, talking, collaborating, looking at the situation objectively,
Uh-huh.
and trying to find a solution that works for everyone. The goal is a positive working relationship.
So guiding people to an agreement, not just telling them what to do.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, inventory management, it seems like a huge part of the job. What's expected there?
It's more than just knowing what's on the shelf. It's actively tracking stock levels, sure, but also
Yeah.
monitoring how well suppliers are performing, making sure what comes in is actually what was ordered, receiving accuracy,
All right.
and knowing best practices like cycle counting.
That's the regular small counts instead of one big annual one.
Exactly. That plus barcoding, automated replenishment systems, and experience with the big software systems is key.
Like WMS, ERP systems, RFID software, those integrated ones.
You got it. They give you that overall view.
It sounds like a complex web of tools and processes keeping track of everything.
It is. And when those systems or processes hit a snag,
That's where the problem solving comes in again.
right. There's a good example in the source material about an outdated tracking system.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
The assistant manager worked with IT, they updated the system, set up new real-time tracking,
Yeah.
and it led to much better accuracy and efficiency. Just a solid example of taking initiative.
Yeah, that's great. So managing all this,
Yeah.
it must take serious prioritization skills.
Yeah.
What are the main focus areas?
Okay. Key priorities mentioned are efficient and safe operation safety is always high up there.
Right.
Then, yeah, managing inventory diligently, overseeing the staff effectively, keeping the place organized, making sure customers are happy through accurate, timely orders, and importantly, keeping an eye on industry trends and new tech.
So is balancing the internal stuff, efficiency, safety team with the external customer focus. Now, let's shift to something maybe less common but serious. What if you suspect an employee is stealing?
Yeah, tricky one. The sources suggest a systematic approach. First, an inventory audit to confirm something's actually missing.
Okay, makes sense.
Then, having private conversations with the people you suspect. Try to understand what's going on.
Right.
And then implement security measures, maybe CCTV, better checks to prevent it happening again.
And building trust is part of that too.
Definitely. Fostering a culture of trust and, ethical behavior is mentioned as important for prevention.
Got it. Okay, communication. We know it's important, but how does it look day to day?
It's about being clear, concise, respectful. whether you're talking to warehouse staff or upper management.
So adapting your style.
Yeah, and active listening is huge. Really understanding instructions, concerns, giving accurate information, proactive updates, and having those constructive talks about how to improve things.
Keeping everyone in the loop.
Essential for smooth operations, yeah.
And when new people start, who trains them?
The assistant manager is often heavily involved. The sources stress a hands-on approach.
Practical experience.
Yes, practical experience working through real scenarios they'll actually face. And creating a supportive environment where it's okay to ask questions.
Learning by doing, but with support.
Exactly.
Okay, safety. We mentioned it's a priority. How does an assistant manager stay current on all the safety rules? There must be loads.
There are. The sources mentioned being proactive, so completing things like an OSHA hazard communication course.
Formal training.
Right. Attending safety seminars, but also staying informed through industry publications, websites, and having regular team discussions about safety protocols. It's an ongoing thing.
Constant vigilance, really.
Yeah.
Now, efficiency. Everyone wants to improve workflow. What strategies can help in a warehouse?
Several things come up. Technology is a big one. Automated tracking, barcode scanners. They cut down manual work and errors.
Right.
Optimizing the actual layout of the warehouse, how shelves and racks are set up, can save a lot of time and movement.
Makes sense.
And just continuously looking for bottlenecks. Where are things getting stuck? And then addressing those specific issues.
So tech, layout, and process analysis.
Kind of a three-pronged approach, yeah.
And warehouses often mean heavy equipment, forklifts, etc. What's needed there?
Proficiency is often required, yes, but it's more than just driving it.
Safety, I assume.
Absolutely. Strict adherence to safety rules, doing pre-operational checks every time, knowing how to load and maneuver safely, plus understanding maintenance needs, and of course, regulatory compliance. Safety is number one with that stuff.
No kidding. Okay, so if someone wants this job, how do they stand out from other candidates?
Good question. The sources point to a few key things. Relevant experience, obviously managing inventory, overseeing staff, running efficient operations.
Table stakes, almost.
Kind of. But then showing expertise in improving processes and reducing costs, that really makes a difference.
Showing results.
Exactly. Strong organizational and communication skills, being adaptable, and a real commitment to customer service and hitting deadlines. Those are big differentiators.
So, proving you can not just do the job, but actually make things better.
That's a good way to put it.
We talked about WMS generally. Do specific system names come up? Is knowing a particular one important?
Yes, the questions do ask which WMS candidates have used. WMS itself is even used as an example name, funnily enough.
Right.
But yeah, having hands-on experience, optimizing inventory, fulfillment, shipping, maybe even setting up a new warehouse within a specific known WMS. That's a definite advantage.
Practical, specific experience gives you an edge. Okay, customer service. Maybe not the first thing you think of with a warehouse.
But it's surprisingly important.
How so?
Well, warehouse operations directly impact the customer, getting the right order out on time, undamaged.
Right, the end result.
Exactly. So the assistant manager needs to be attentive to customer needs, handle inquiries well, have a positive attitude. Ensuring that fulfillment process is smooth is customer service.
Yeah, that makes sense. The warehouse is a key part of that customer journey.
Definitely.
What about the physical space? Keeping the warehouse clean, how important is that?
Pretty important, according to the sources. They recommend regular cleaning, at least weekly.
Weekly. Why so often?
For efficiency, safety, and organization. A clean space reduces hazards, prevents accidents, makes it easier to find things, and it helps maintain the building itself. It's just good practice for a functional, safe workplace.
Okay. Now, things inevitably get busy. What happens when orders pile up, you get a backlog?
Yeah, that happens. The advice is to be strategic. First, figure out how bad the backlog is, what resources you have.
Assess the situation.
Right. Then, prioritize. Which orders are most urgent? Which customers need theirs first?
Triage, basically.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Then look at streamlining processes. Can tech help speed things up? And make sure you have the packing supplies, everything you need, ready to go.
So stay calm, get organized, prioritize, and execute.
That's the gist.
Accuracy is another recurring theme. Shipping, receiving. How do you ensure things are correct?
Multiple checks seem to be the key. Double-checking order details, item numbers, quantities, destinations before anything goes out.
Okay.
Proper labeling and packaging, obviously. Using barcode scanners during receiving to catch discrepancies right away.
Technology helping again.
Yeah. And keeping detailed records of all shipments creates that essential paper trail or digital trail.
Layers of verification to minimize mistakes. Okay, what about when an employee isn't quite pulling their weight? Underperformance.
Yeah, that requires a careful approach. The
Hmm.
sources suggest handling it constructively.
Oh,
Start with a private chat. Try to understand why they're underperforming. Is something going on? Do they need more training?
get to the root cause.
Exactly. Then work with them to create an improvement plan. Clear goals, maybe extra training,
Uh-huh.
and then monitor their progress. Give positive feedback when you see improvement. It's about coaching them up, ideally.
Support and development, not just criticism. Some warehouses deal with hazardous materials. That sounds like it needs special knowledge.
Absolutely. Knowing the regulations inside and out is critical.
Your kind of regulations.
Things like requirements for specific containers, proper labeling procedures, mandatory employee training on handling,
Okay.
safe work practices when dealing with the materials, and regularly reviewing policies to make sure you're compliant with the latest rules.
Compliance is key there, for obvious reasons.
Hugely important.
How about keeping the team motivated? Warehouse work can be physically demanding.
Yeah, motivation is important. The sources mention a few techniques. Positive reinforcement, acknowledging good work.
Simple but effective.
Setting clear, achievable goals for the team. Giving regular constructive feedback so people know where they stand. And maybe organizing team-building activities. Helps build camaraderie, boost morale.
Creating a positive team spirit.
Exactly. A motivated team usually means a more productive team.
We've touched on tech a lot. Can we summarize the big ways technology has changed warehouse operations?
Sure. The big impacts are improved efficiency and productivity, largely through automation like barcode scanners, automated systems,
Right.
better supply chain management, overall planning, resource allocation.
Uh-huh.
And maybe the biggest shift is towards data-driven decisions, using analytics on all the data generated to operate smarter.
So less guesswork, more informed choices.
Precisely. It's a much more data-rich environment now.
Okay, what about when things go wrong from the customer's perspective?
Yeah.
Handling difficult complaints.
Yeah, that takes professionalism.
Okay.
The advice is always stay courteous, even if the customer is upset.
Keep cool.
Right. Listen actively to understand their actual concern. Acknowledge the issue. Ask questions to get the full picture.
Okay.
Then, work toward a solution that meets their needs but also works for the company. Keep them updated on what you're doing.
Communication again.
Always. Apologize for the inconvenience and follow up afterwards to make sure they're satisfied.
Gotta turn it around.
That's the goal.
Now, some roles involve overseeing multiple warehouses. That sounds like a step up in complexity.
It definitely is. You need really strong organizational skills, obviously. Meticulous attention to detail to track everything across different sites.
I got
Excellent problem-solving skills, because issues can pop up anywhere. Experience managing inventory across locations, coordinating shipping between them, and ensuring safety protocols are consistent everywhere. It's about keeping a distributed network running smoothly.
as a whole new layer. Finally, security. Protecting people and inventory. What are the key measures?
It's fundamental. Securing entry and exit points, locks, alarms. That's basic.
Right.
Regular security inspections to spot vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Actively monitoring activity, who's coming and going, any suspicious behavior.
Vigilance.
Yeah, and using security tech, CCTV cameras, motion sensors, alarm systems. It's a layered approach.
Physical security monitoring and technology working together.
Exactly.
Well, that pretty much covers the ground from our sources on the assistant warehouse manager role.
It really does. We've seen it's quite a demanding job. Needs that blend of operational know-how, leadership, and real attention to detail to keep things running right.
Yeah, absolutely. So whether you're thinking about this path or you work with people in this role or you were just curious,
We hope this deep dive gave you some valuable insights.
and maybe a final thought to leave you with.
Mhm.
With automation and AI advancing so rapidly, how do you think this assistant warehouse manager role might change in the next, say, 5 or 10 years?
That's a big question.
What new skills might become critical? What
Right.
priorities might shift? Something to ponder as the logistics world keeps evolving.
Definitely food for thought.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.